Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Two Love, here bringing you part two of your sports overview of topics for number 17. Usually, I just am able to do one part of the episode for the week. However, due to the changes in the NFL schedule, um, I decided to do a part two this week simply because the Bills Titans game was moved to Tuesday. It was originally supposed to be Sunday, but it was Tuesday, which of course prompted the Bills Chiefs game that was supposed to be today or tonight um, moved to Monday. So, quickly gonna recap. That game, as well as my predictions for Week 6. I'll also give my thoughts on the rest of the race in the Mlb Playoffs. Again, thank you for joining me. If you're new to podcasts, like and subscribe. Click on the bell for all notifications on my sports reviews and predictions, as well as my pro wrestling reviews. So with that, let's get into the episode, shall we? So, like I said, Bills Titans was moved to Tuesday. How is it going to fare? The Titans, of course, have not played in over 2 weeks. They last played against the Vikings, which they won on the last second field goal. With all of the roundings of Corona, the positive tests. They had their bye week last week because they were supposed to face Steelers. However, the outbreak postponed that game to week 7. But the question was going to be about the Titans. The Bills, of course, came into this game 4-0, riding high. Of course, they last won their game convincingly over, I believe, the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders. And they have done well all throughout their camp. They practiced. Well, there was unknowing of whether they were going to play the Titans or the Chiefs this week. So they had to shuffle through game plans. But nonetheless, the Titans, they made a statement. I mean, they put together and just, it was pretty much Titans. Well, so it was just mistakes and bad defense by the Bills, pretty much. I mean, the first drive was an interception off of Andre Roberts' hands that developed into a touchdown for the Titans. Next thing you know, bad special teams by the Bills. I mean, then another interception that led to a Titans touchdown. Ryan Tannehill just tore them apart, 21-28 over 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, hats off to Ryan Tannehill. Of the 3 quarterbacks, taking the top 10 of the 2012 draft, Andrew Luck, RG3, and Ryan Tannehill, he's the only one that's still starting. That's pretty impressive. But Josh Allen and the Bills looked flat. I mean, well, it was 14-10. It was competitive driving down, but the Titans scored a late touchdown, and just started to blow it open. And hats off to Titans. I mean, they had to rebound after all that was said about them, and kudos to them. They did their job. The Bills are still a good football team, and we'll be back. But Josh Norman, first of all, that stiff arm he took from Derrick Henry, wow. That was just a moniker of a harbinger of what happened to the Bills pretty much all game against Titans. Yeah. Now, the Bills have to recap against the Chiefs after today. Woo. And then the Titans have to rebound against the Texans or face the Texans this Sunday. Pretty interesting. So first, before I go into my predictions, I want to talk about the MLB Playoffs. So we're down to our final four. We are down to Rays facing the Dodgers, who won last night to make it up 2-1. Then we got the Astros facing the Devil Rays. For my money, I'm picking Devil Rays and Dodgers in the World Series. It should be a fun one, so we'll see. So now on to my predictions for Week 6. So starting off, usually I make my prediction on Tuesday, but thanks to the game Tuesday, I had to wait to make these predictions today. So, oh well. But so starting off with the big one, Chiefs versus Bills in Buffalo. Now, for those who have just tuned in, or those who are seeing this, you'll find out that Le'Veon Bell signed with the Chiefs. Now, however, this prediction was made prior to that signing. However, I'm sticking with it. Bills win. Both teams are rebounding or have to rebound, but I'm going with Bills 35-33. Next up, the Sunday games. So, excuse me. I know Bills Chiefs was moved to Monday, but I printed out the schedule, so makes it look like the first game of the week. So, Titans, Texans in Tennessee. With fans there, Texans, sorry, but Romeo Cornell, his second game, I just think the Titans are hitting all fronts right now. I think it will be closer than expected because it's a division opponent. So I'm going with Tennessee over Texans 28-24. Next up, probably the game of the week. Got Cleveland going to Pittsburgh. Browns going to Heinz Field. Now, the Browns have been on a roll, same with the Steelers. However, the Steelers, you look at their 4 wins. Okay, they beat the Giants, but they could have lost that game. You beat the Eagles last week, but you could have lost that game. They could have lost to the Texans, and they could have lost to, I believe, the other game is being a blur currently, but unless the Browns, of course, their last 2 wins being the Colts and the Cowboys. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they're 2 good teams. They're turning a corner in Cleveland, and I'm believing 28-26 Cleveland over Pittsburgh. Next up, we got Baltimore going to Philly. Bad week to allow fans back in Philly. I mean, 7,500 allowed there won't make a difference. Bad team. I thought the Eagles would be better up to this point. I'm going with Baltimore to win 31-20. Next up, we got Washington going to the Meadowlands playing the Giants. Both teams are still in it to win the NFC East or the NFC least. Now, the Giants nearly lost last week. Nearly lost. You could say that was a game they should have won. Now, yes, they're 0-5, but they don't seem like an actual 0-5 team to me. Now, the news that Washington will start Kyle Allen. However, probably won't be for long. So, I'm going with Washington over the Giants 26-20. Next up, we got the Vikings hosting the Falcons in Raheem Morris's first game as interim head coach for the Falcons. I mean, that offense just seems lost right now. So much money put into Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And Minnesota's probably pissed that they lost the way they did last week against Seattle. So I'm going with the Vikings win 30-20. Next up, we got Detroit going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I mean, they beat the Colts in a game no one thought they would win, but they have fallen so mightily after week 1. So, I mean, Detroit, I still don't know what to think of them at this point, but I still think they are a better team on paper. So, 23-14, I'm going with Detroit. Next up, we got the Bengals going to Indy playing the Colts. Now, the Colts, they look good in part last week against Cleveland. However, the 2 picks, even the pick 6 by Philip Rivers, just did not help their causes. I don't think Cincinnati, well, the way Cincinnati wins this is if Philip Rivers does dumb crap again. Turnovers, however, I think they get it right, and Colts will win 30-21 over the Bengals. Chicago going to Carolina. This was the only game I have not been able to predict yet. I needed time to think about it. However, Carolina is hot at the moment. And Chicago, they won that close one against Tampa Bay. Both are feeling good. I just think Chicago right now, I'm going with them. 24-21. That's how I'm going. One of the games that was flexed this week, we got the Jets going to Miami playing the Dolphins. Now, the Jets were supposed to face the Chargers. However, it's still, they're just bad. Dolphins, they won heavily over the 49ers last week. I think they win this in a good way, 30-20 to get to 500, and then they have a favorable schedule down the stretch for the next 6 games. Good for Miami, whether it's Fitzmagic or not. Next up, what should be a good one, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers going to Tampa Bay, going to face Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I don't think it'll come down to 4th down this game. I think it'll be a shootout, and I see Tampa Bay winning 33-27. Should be a fun one. Excuse me, I skipped over this game, but Denver and New England, Gilmore and Cam are back, so I add more to add up the score a little bit. 34-20, the Patriots win. The Broncos, I feel bad because I have friends who are Broncos fans, and the media, a bunch of people thought this could be a playoff team or could even challenge the Chiefs for the division this year. But all the injuries and just has not gone well for the Broncos. I mean, excuse me. Patriots win by 2 touchdowns. Next, we move to Sunday Night Football. The Rams going to San Fran to play the 49ers that got embarrassed last week by the beard, by Fitzmagic. Now, the question is the status of Jimmy G. Looking at the game, yes, he wasn't 100%. Their offensive line has issues. They miss Joe Staley and Mike Pearson, who both, and Weston Richburg, who all are Richburg is hurt. However, Staley and Pearson both retired. So they missed both of them. That defense is just, I mean, no Bosa, no D Ford, no Solomon Thomas, no Richard Sherman. And I think he's back. I'm not sure. I'll have to see about his health status. But yeah, the defense has holes. And I think I'm saying the 49ers will keep it competitive, more competitive than it was last week. However, the Rams win. Aaron Donald torments that offensive line, and they win 23-17, which starts a bad road for the 49ers. Just, yeah. And then close out week 6. As I mentioned, the Bills and Chiefs, I already mentioned, but the other Monday Night Football game, Cardinals going to Dallas. Andy Dalton's first game as the starter for Dallas. See, that Dallas defense is still bad. Still bad. They let up 34 points to a team that didn't score 17 all season prior. The Cardinals, the blow to Chandler Jones definitely hurts this team. However, I think offensively they'll be able to control it with Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds. Kyler Murray will make a few throws, and they'll ultimately do more than Dallas. Andy Dalton keeps it close, however. I think the Cardinals win 28-23. And Jerry Weld. Sorry, Jerry. That's just how it goes. Alright, so those are my predictions. So that's the episode. Like I said, if you're new, like and subscribe. Thank you all. I enjoyed this part 2 for today again because Bills and Titans was on Tuesday. I wanted to recap all the games for the week, so I did part 2, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you on Tuesday for next episode of the Sports Overview Topics. Thank you all, and see you Tuesday.